the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino for the next 3 hours here on a Monday. Loaded to the gills today. Could easily do 10, 12 hours of radio and TV. No problem. I mean, this is just, as I tweeted out before the show started and we discussed on Friday, I hate it when the regular season comes to an end in the NFL. But these shows kind of write themselves, and they're a blast to do. We have playoff numbers to get into for the wild card round, some very intriguing matchups. Draft order, futures. It is Black Monday. I can't believe who the Bears want to talk to. That's coming up in 15 minutes. Other coaches getting canned, best bets, win totals, and Pauly, good old contest sweats as well. How you doing?
All right. You all right? Fun weekend?
It's a good weekend.
Yeah. Best 20 minutes in Circa Survivor history. Probably the best 20 minutes in any Survivor contest.
How about the 3-hour window?
Yeah, the window was great. We didn't know how good those early games would be. They delivered 2 overtime games. The sweat here, what happened in the final 20 minutes of those games, and the one guy in the catbird seat who used Arizona, there was a chance all those teams were going to lose.
Think about that for a second.
That was in play.
Yeah.
Because 8 on Atlanta, 5 on Tampa, 2 on Green Bay, 2 on the Colts. One guy said, I'm going late. I'm going to see if there's carnage. And he almost got it.
And that was the only easy game.
That's right. Good point. Great point.
So
Josh Dobbs, the last time we saw him, benched 4 interceptions on a Monday night game. Couldn't start him in a big game Sunday night against the Packers. They went with Hall, the rookie. That's how bad he was.
Yep.
And they throw him out there and are going up and down the field against Arizona. Finally, interception. Couldn't stop Arizona. They pull away. They win. Misleading score, but they cover. But yeah, right. Everything else, the 4 games early. Oh, I couldn't believe it.
Well, then, of course, of the 8 people who were on Atlanta, you're thinking, my God, the last thing I want is overtime here. If this thing ends in a tie,
yep,
and people were hedging on Carolina money line, oh, how bitter would you be? You'd have nothing to show for it unless you were taking Carolina plus the points if that ends in a tie.
Yeah.
That's the nightmare scenario, unless, of course, they were found some big bomb numbers that they were betting a tie, and I'm sure down to 18 people. I think you had to do that.
Yeah, the drive was taken forever, and the tie was in play with the Colts game, too.
That's right.
They took the long field goal, and then the Colts set up for 3, but then they get the stop as well. Again, the Colts involved in craziness in Week 18 with Survivor. And the Tampa game, how about if you had Tampa? You thought it was the easiest play. It was a great hedging opportunity, but Baker was 0-43 in his career, down double digits. Mm-hmm. And Rattler looks good. Baker has an interception. They can't score a touchdown in the first half. Then they finally come storming back. Can't be stopped, but still, play after play after play. The touchdown pass to McMillan. How does he make that throw? How does he stay in bounds and make the catch? They're backed up. He hits Evans 3rd and 8. It's 3rd and 14. He takes off and runs for 20 yards. It's just the Saints couldn't get off the field in the second half.
I mean, if you're watching that game, even if you're not even in the Survivor contest, the observation to me was this: the Buccaneers offense, who put 50-plus on the Saints the first time they met, and they've been a machine. Baker Mayfield had an incredible season. Offense is dynamite. So that looked like Oregon against Ohio State. Nothing came easy. Like, what game am I watching here?
Yep.
I get it. The Saints, it's a divisional game. They don't want to go out and get their brains bashing like that. They want to, give them some resistance and play the role of spoiler, much like Carolina was doing, and these other teams that we're talking about here.
Yep.
But nothing. I'm like, are these guys just completely tight, or is this all New Orleans today playing out of their minds and one of the best performances, like one of the, the first 2 weeks of the year for that team? So they couldn't run the ball. Mayfield was in trouble. He was getting harassed the entire time. The turnover, like you talked about, nobody was open the way it appeared.
Yep.
Like, what's going on? And then they're laying 12.5 or 13 for the second half, down 16-6.
Yep. And they punch it in to cover that, too, late with the touchdown, right?
Well, they also got Evans his incentive.
They did, yeah. And then the reaction. Boy, they wanted to get him that in the worst way and get the 1,000 yards. He spikes the ball.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Also, the Saints tried to do whatever they could to get MVS a touchdown. Uh-huh. The one that was called back, they took a shot to him again, where I think the toes were maybe a little bit out of bounds right there.
I thought that was a touchdown, like the Tyree catch.
That's what I thought.
He has it, crosses the goal line, and then it gets ripped off.
Sure.
And they had to settle for 3. But the other thing was the quarterback play. Geno Smith, making $6 million in incentives, 4 touchdowns. Garoppolo was awesome. That was a fun game. Milton couldn't be stopped. Patriots blow the pick. Rattler played well. Lance was okay. Bryce Young was phenomenal. Rodgers goes out on a high note, and no one could stop Mariota once he came in.
That was a fun day.
Yeah.
Overall, that was a really, really entertaining, 6-7 hour window before the Sunday night game, and that first half was super dramatic, and it turned out to be a blowout. And all I can do is sit here and tip my cap to that coaching staff of the Detroit Lions. From the top all the way down. Dan Campbell's awesome. He's the man. I love the guy. Everybody knows about Ben Johnson as the OC. He can take whatever job he wants in the offseason if he wants it. But I thought Aaron Glenn was a star last night, the Lions defensive coordinator.
Yep, my own apology. I didn't think that was possible. Bears, up and down the field against them. 49ers, up and down the field, no problem. Bills did whatever they wanted. And to think that they could do that in the red zone, you get Anzalone back, who had a great tweet. Everyone wants to be a dog until they have to do some dog bleep. And he showed the scar and the surgery. But for them, with all those guys out to play like that and hold Minnesota to 9 points, even though they were living in the red zone and O'Connell was horrendous, so was Darnold, that's an A-plus coaching job. To go 15-2 with all those injuries and get the 1 seed, and Aaron Glenn, he'll probably be a head coach also. If I back up a second, what did you think the chances were the Bears were going to make the field goal? After how many games they've lost and the issues they've had, and when they get the playoff again, which actually
it's a good question.
Yep.
I was not higher than like 60-40 on it going in.
I thought for sure he'd miss. That's to sum up their season. And then how the game's over. I don't think LaFleur was going to call a timeout.
I don't think he was going to either.
He didn't call a timeout down to the 2-minute warning. Both quarterbacks were hurt. I think he was just going to punt on the game.
Yeah, so do I.
But then the Bears throw it and they fumble. And they're going to give the Packer backers a miracle win, it looked like, until he connects over the middle and they spike it and they finally have time.
The more I thought about that game over the weekend, and 10s were still available, the number never made any sense to me. And now this is actually, the way it unfolded yesterday, I don't know what the Packers were doing either. Pulling guys out of the game, trying to put them back in. What the hell's going on? The Commanders were trailing or in trouble for a lot of that contest.
Yes.
And I don't know, unless they're completely comfortable going in with this kind of form right now, playing Philadelphia this week, how could you be okay with that? It's like, no, I would rather go play the Buccaneers, actually. So, the Jacobs thing getting pulled early, Willis, then Love looked like he was warming up back on the sidelines again then.
Yeah.
And then Watson goes down with the injury, and they're probably thinking, okay, well, now no more of this. We're just going to, see how this goes. Doesn't matter. We're in the playoffs now anyway, so I guess we'll have to take on Philadelphia. But they are not playing good football at all. And I did not take Bears money line, though, yesterday. Did you have a slice of that?
I did not, no. I didn't think it could get there, but the fact that I was just stunned how do you give up the punt return?
The punt return just...
How does that work? They deke you out and
everybody fell for it.
They fell for it, right. 94 yards, untouched.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, it looked like he was trying to walk into the end zone.
Yeah, it was brilliant what happened. But Williams only throws for 140 yards, and they win the game. So it was a disaster. You can't improve your seeding. You go to Philadelphia. Watson's out for the year. Love's banged up. Willis gets hurt. And you lose to your rival, and the 11-game winning streak's over.
Well, and by the way, that number went to 5.5, back down to 4.5 here today. Adam Schefter tweeted out before the show. Now, I'm sure he's going to get cleared, but Jalen Hurts is still, currently speaking, he's still in the concussion protocol. I'm guessing we'll have news by, Tuesday, Wednesday probably.
Yeah.
That Hurts, maybe by tonight, who knows, that he's going to be good to go for the game.
Yep.
I want nothing to do with Green Bay in this game. I think it's a terrible matchup for him.
Yep. How about the Vikings?
That's tricky.
O'Connell, it's 31-9. Your quarterback is hobbling and limping. Get him out of the game, run the ball, and go home. You got a playoff game to get ready for.
But he doesn't do that, though.
It's ridiculous.
He remember, I go all the way back to the Jets game when they were playing overseas. They had a comfortable lead early on. Every single play, Darnold's still throwing it 30 yards down the field. You can dial it back here a little bit, pal. But I just thought Aaron Glenn was absolutely fantastic last night, and some of the individual players for Detroit on defense.
Yep.
I mean, it was just... But Darnold also tied in. Darnold was no good.
No, missed 4 throws there, touchdowns in the red zone.
That's right.
He's got Addison for a touchdown, doesn't see him. He's got Jefferson. Bad throw, still could have made the catch. He had Jefferson on another route. He missed him. O'Connell was George Costanza again. Do the opposite. Down 17-9, 4th and 3, he kicks the field goal.
Yep.
No good. He wouldn't kick the field goal earlier in the game.
Baffling to me.
Yeah, 2nd and goal. Pass. 2nd and goal from the 3. Pass. Turnover on downs. 4th and 6, kicked the field goal, though. I mean, it didn't make any sense, and he still got Darnold out there. So he was horrendous. And where you can run the ball, too. Feel free to mix in a run. Pass.
Sportsbooks still have Coach of the Year up. And it's funny, two different people, same exact time before the show started, should I take some Dan Campbell? He's down to like 4-1 to win it. I don't know. I mean, all we heard going into the game was KOC's going to be Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Now voters going to change their mind because of one game?
Well, certainly Dan Campbell had an incredible season.
I know.
But there's a lot of great candidates out there. Huge news today.
Oh, gigantic.
Big. We're back to Sirius XM starting January 17th. VSiN's 24/7 program and available Sirius XM channel 158 and the Sirius XM app. And we produce a new show, VSiN Live, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Maher and Dustin, 7 to 10 a.m., 7 to 10 Eastern at Channel 82. VSiN Live, Mad Dog Radio every weeknight, 7 to 10. January 17th, channel 158, Sirius XM.
Make note of it. We're back, baby! On the 17th, channel 158. The good old days, huh?
That's right.
All right.
Cursing, fire alarms going off. Absolutely.
I know. How about this? Super Contest Gold, $5,000 an entry. They only pay out one winner over at the Westgate. 2 people tied for it, 54 points. One person closed 2 and 3. The person who tied them went 4 and 1, had to have it, got it. One person went 3 and 2 to finish a half a point back. They split $380,000. Killer.
Payout structures in these contests they got to change them.
Yeah, we'll go over latest coaches that have been fired, and also, again, what are the Bears thinking here?
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life. On the next episode of Make It Rain with Adam Shine, we'll keep you up to date on the latest firings in the NFL coaching carousel and all other NFL news. We're going to be joined by VSiN Zach Cohen to preview all the odds for the semifinals of the college football playoffs, in addition to previewing Tuesday's NBA slate. You don't want to miss the Z-Train's best bets. Tune in to Tuesday's episode of Make It Rain with Adam Shine, 3 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the sports betting network.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. We're live, downtown Las Vegas, next 3 hours. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. Black Monday across the National Football League. So guys that have gotten waxed so far. Jacksonville fired Doug Peterson. No surprise. They are going to retain GM Trent Baalke. Is that a very desirable opening in your opinion?
I have it down the list.
Bill Barnwell at ESPN wrote a column on December 26th, and he also projected, along with the openings that we already had at that point and some teams that might do firings as well, he has the Jags as the number one spot in the offseason that's going to be open. I do not agree with that. Is the roster that good? Is Trevor Lawrence good?
No. Compare it to Chicago. I don't think it's close.
It isn't.
I mean, I want to see what Chicago looks like once you get Williams the proper tutelage and coaching, and you see how good they could be, and everything went haywire once they after the Eberflus go. But between the defense is horrendous, Doug closed 4-18. No way.
Yep.
No way. The Bears were close last year. They were certainly in a lot of games, and I don't like Lawrence at all.
Okay, so the Bears, again, can't screw this up. They have requested interviews with Brian Flores. Okay, he's going to get another shot somewhere. I don't think Chicago is the spot. You got to go offense, in my opinion, there in Chicago. They've also requested an interview with Arthur Smith. That's typical Chicago Bears right there. They're going to talk to him. They'll interview him twice. It really went well. I think this is going to be the guy. Great vision here in Chicago with what he can do with Caleb Williams in the offense. I would give that an automatic F.
Well, he's talking to the Jets, too. I don't get that. No one should be talking to Art Smith.
No.
His own family shouldn't talk to him. That's ridiculous.
He should be Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, right. If Johnson wanted the job, it's a layup. You just wait and say, well, here's the blank check, whatever you want.
Right.
That you hire Johnson. And if Johnson says no, I go to Kingsbury. I'm with you.
Arthur Smith?
Come on. That's
I had to
laughable.
read it. They had to read the tweet three times.
Yeah, was it the Jets? Someone talked to Ron Rivera, too. So.
That was the Jets, yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Jesus.
Rex Ryan says he's getting the job. He was on New York radio today. The Aaron Rodgers Country Club stuff stops. No more of that nonsense. You got to identify with the fans and be tough. And he thinks he's getting it. And the race is on for Vrabel, too, which I think why they got rid of Mayo, because the Jets were hot and heavy with him. No. And I think that's where they're going to beat him to the punch here, right? That's what you got to do. I call this one hot and heavy. Play the sax, baby. But this is, I don't blame people. It's like you watch this buffoonery all year and like, what? Belichick, Vrabel, Harbaugh available? Nah, give me Raheem Morris.
Incredible.
Don't give me some of these other guys. Let's hold on to Eberflus, right? And you get what you deserve.
Yep.
I mean, Atlanta went 8-9, couldn't stop a nosebleed, in your face. Chicago, disaster, in your face. I mean, it's silly. Chargers, good move. Great move.
Oh, he was the guy.
You're going to the playoffs. I think you're going to beat the Texans. You could give the Chiefs all they could handle.
By the way, is that any surprise? I would argue that the previous coaching regimes for Justin Herbert have been as bad as I've ever seen. And now, by the way, another news item today, there's a team talking to Anthony Lynn. I mean, I give up. But Herbert had Anthony Lynn. It could never get worse. Mm-hmm. It did when they hired Brandon Staley. I mean, just the muck of the NFL with that coaching, right? And what do? They beat out every other team like these just disastrous organizations that didn't even want to talk to John Harbaugh. Bears come to mind. Or others that could have had him. Chargers land him. Surprise, surprise, they win that many games, and they're in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Stunning development there. Mm-hmm. The guy's one of the best coaches I've ever seen in my entire life. He's going to win wherever he goes.
Yep. And the mistake that Tennessee made. Couldn't keep Vrabel around. Went 2-15 ATS.
It's worse than that, I think.
Yep, and they got the number one pick. But they need so much, it's ridiculous. And it starts at quarterback, and Callahan should be one and done. So you go from the 1 seed and say, enough with Henry. No more Hopkins, no more Tannehill. Let's go a different route, and you get what you deserve, right? Cincinnati did the right thing. Lou Anarumo gone. Couldn't stop anything. Horrible. I'm surprised Miami's keeping McDaniel. They said if they back him. Giants keeping Daboll. That's a surprise, even though Mara said my patience is thin. Seattle let Ryan Grubb go. One and done is the OC.
I did not see that.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
Oh, boy, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's news to me. Wow, that's
Ian
astonishing.
Rappaport tweeted as expected or something along those lines. Yeah. They won 10 games.
What am I missing?
Yeah, bad move. Don't like it.
Oh, my God. Ryan Grubb is going – how does he not get a job by next week?
I know.
Pretty much whatever job that he wants.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal in Washington last year in college. I thought he did it totally – he did not deserve to get fired, let's put it that way, or let go. Wow, okay. So the Saints, obviously – Barnwell ranks them like this.
Yep.
Saints number 9.
Salary cap hell, yep.
Jets number 8.
Well, no quarterback. See if he can keep the wide receivers. I'd rather have the Jets job than the Raiders job.
And he has the Raiders number 7.
Mm-hmm. What's good about the Giants job? You're starting over there too. You have neighbors, but you need a quarterback.
I think that's a great question. I mean, again, of the ones that we've talked about right now, Saints, oh boy, salary cap hell, like you said.
Yeah.
The Jets, Raiders, Titans, and the Giants. Wow, at least the Patriots, who Barnwell ranks number 4 right now, and Mayo is one and done. Mm-hmm. So if Mayo is one and done, to me, Callahan has to be one and done in Tennessee. He looked like he was completely lost this year.
Right.
But at least the Patriots have their quarterback. May is going to be a player in this league, the way it appears.
Yeah, and they have a lot of money. So they can sign some big-time wide receivers and hopefully fix the defense that was so good last year. I'd rather have the New England job than the Jacksonville job.
So would I. And Jacksonville, Barnwell put number 1 overall. Miami number 2, but McDaniel's going to come back. Tyreek Hill going to be out of town the way it looks. He wants to leave Miami. What was up with that yesterday? He is not available?
So the Mayo thing is like Lovie Smith part 2. What are you doing? Fire him before the game and then have the assistant and give him a nice check to lose. You blow the number 1 pick. And this was Antonio Brown part 2. Same stadium. Losing his mind. I'm not available. What do you mean you're not available? I don't want to play here. And he doesn't, in a game they have to have, he doesn't want to play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, doors open, I'm out of here, bro.
Here you go.
Okay.
This is the reason why Andy Reid said, okay, we're going to trade this guy is because of how he operates. This was Tyreek Hill to the media after the game yesterday.
I'm opening the door, like I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for for my career and what's best, because I'm too much of a competitor to be just.
Does that mean you're
out there?
Mean you thinking about leaving here?
If it is, yes.
What is happening here? By the way, when he first went to Miami, did he not go out of his way to tell people that Tua had like the best arm in the NFL? Or he's the best? He said something along those lines. He's the best quarterback I played with, or his passes are as good as I've ever seen. Dude, you just left Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, right. So he doesn't make the playoffs, and he's had enough. You're too much of a competitor, but you won't go on the field in a game you have to have.
Oh, there you go.
Even though Denver was up
sense.
50 points, and he's got to do what's best for his family. That's a big family, but that's lunacy.
Maybe go get snipped.
Yeah, but it's okay. You would have made the playoffs though if you had Tua. Now part of that's also on McDaniel, and I can't believe how bad Huntley was when he was in there. But they missed the playoffs because they couldn't beat Tennessee at home. And they also blew the game against the Colts, and then they blew the game against Arizona. So they should have been a playoff team. But still, everything was fine if Tua doesn't get hurt. But I can't believe he did that. I don't understand. Jimmy Butler, Tyreek Hill. Why does your life suck? What's so bad? You make all this money to play sports, and you're miserable.
Mm-hmm. No matter where you go.
Yes, that's another good point.
So same guy. Is it the team then, or is that you? That's a you problem.
Right.
I don't know.
Everywhere you go, you're unhappy. That's because of you. It's not the people around you. It's like you can't win with Jimmy Butler. Now I can't. You had a great situation in Kansas City.
Of course.
You were winning, putting up big numbers. Now I got to get paid. And get paid. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
One year I missed the playoffs. I can't handle 8 and 9.
That's the same thing as Anthony Richardson. Pulled himself out of the game.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
This is actually worse because you're a veteran. And like you said, you had to have the game to get into the playoffs. Now, I know it's the fourth quarter, but I'm not. McDaniel said after the game, I was told he wasn't available.
Now, wouldn't you go scorched earth on him and just say,
1,000%.
You throw the headset and you seek him out. Say,
yes.
What do you mean
get
you're
on
not
the field
available?
right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Who
not available.
I know the guy's awesome. Who's going to want to now sign him to another contract after you operate like that?
Boy, oh boy. Sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader, seasoned sports bettor with over 45 years of experience. Visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. VSiN promo code VSiN500 to save $500. Don't miss your chance to sharpen your strategy and gain the edge in your trading game. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500.
Eagles down to 4-point favorites here at Circa against Green Bay in the wild card round. Got the 5.5. 4.5 before the show. Now sitting at 4.
Ravens won't stop. Ravens 10.
Yeah. We will get into the NFL draft order coming up next. Again, they had to go out of their way and win yesterday to spoil the party and, of course, take my future bet down with them.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Draft order and number one overall pick odds coming up in a second. We are on X at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. Hagan is asking the question, how is Zach Taylor, Brian Dable, and Antonio Pierce apparently remaining head coaches? All three have no business being head coaches. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm doing anything I can to get Vrabel before New England gets him.
Yeah. So I was with you. Taylor has to go too. These slow starts every year, and how do you lose? How does that team lose to the Patriots and Brissett to start the season? They only scored 10 points. So unacceptable. The other one is what happens in Big D. Big Mike's contract is up next Tuesday, and he's going to talk to the Bears.
Well, offensive mind.
Seemingly.
I don't like him as a head coach.
Yeah.
Could Grubb go there as the OC if they talk to Brian Flores as the head coach and the interview goes really, really well? Would that be a good combination?
People are talking to Kellen Moore, too.
Yeah. In theory, I like that idea.
I don't know. The whole thing's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. That Vrabel was out, that Belichick was out. It's absurd.
Huh?
How these billionaires, and why did Khan wait all year to fire Peterson? Well, the move had to be made, he said. It needed to be fixed now. Why didn't you fire him after the London game? And then he said we were predictable on both sides of the ball. I mean, get the head start on this.
Yeah.
So it's some of this stuff is laughable, and I'm with Hagan on Pierce too. That should have been done already.
Oh, no kidding. So I'm holding a ticket on Travis Hunter 18-1 to go number one overall in the draft. Love my chances if the Patriots did the right thing, and they started Milton yesterday. So I don't know. Maybe they were trying to lose the game. And
May played a series.
Yeah, I know.
And then they went to him.
Right.
But get him out of the game.
Yeah.
He's too good.
He was playing really well.
Right? This is not hard. We watch this all the time in the NBA. The Browns did it beautifully.
They were so smart this year.
Yes. So it was said by many, but this is true. What the Patriots essentially did was they traded the number one pick to move down to number 4 for nothing. For nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to remember that game? Oh, you beat the Bills, who had nothing to play for.
And what good does it do?
Yeah. I mean,
don't tell me it does them any good because the coach was fired anyway.
Right.
You're exactly spot on. It's identical to what happened with Lovie Smith in Houston. He went out there and won the game 2 years ago in a great game, and they were playing like they needed the game like blood, won it at the gun, and so they flipped from having the first pick overall in the draft to number 2. And the Bears had the number 1 overall in the pick. And what did they do? They traded down, and they got a huge haul for Bryce Young, right? And the Panthers moved up for him. So now you're sitting at number 4. I guess in theory, if they wanted Travis Hunter all along, he could still be there at number 4. But at 18-1, they were the perfect team for him. They don't need a quarterback. And with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward being the 2 quarterbacks that are gonna be taken very highly this year, there's a real possibility here that a team like Tennessee or the Giants said, okay, well, we know you don't need a quarterback, so we're not going to trade up with you, and we don't think that highly of him anyway. So forget it. You're going to be stuck at number 1. They can take Travis Hunter. Now that's all gone. They go to number 4. So the Titans at 1. Now Cam Ward's the new favorite here, between minus 125 and minus 135 to go number 1 overall. And Sanders was the odds-on favorite before the games were played. Now he's number 2 at plus 105, and Hunter's back to like 11-1.
I don't know what to believe. Because there are reports that Sanders might get like a low first round grade from people in the NFL. Everyone falls in love with someone at the Underwear Olympics, but this is at the Combine. I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. This is wide open, and it's all wide open for someone to cash at a big price and steal this. Who keeps the pick? Do you trade down? Who makes the pick? And all of it. But I like Ward, but is he going to be the next great thing?
Right.
He had ups and downs at Washington State. He was phenomenal at Miami. Sanders, you could say, comes with some baggage. Throwing his offensive line under the bus in the Nebraska game. I think you still got a shot with Hunter, but probably a pick. Why it's so important, and then Tennessee goes the other direction, and there's so many needs.
Tennessee needs a quarterback. Will Levis is not going to be the guy. He's terrible. Cleveland has to have a quarterback. They refuse to play Jameis Winston down the stretch. He's not going to be the guy next year. I mean,
they got more bad news on Watson.
Yep.
Giants need a quarterback.
Have to get one.
Raiders can't be serious with O'Connell, but they'll probably trot him out there again. He'll get another veteran.
Are the Raiders a team that would trade up to the top 2?
What are they going to give up?
That's a phenomenal question.
The other thing, they can't pick their nose. That's another one. They finally got one right with Bowers, but we'll do it later in the show. They can't draft right.
No, they've been a disaster for many, many, many years now.
And Kraft said it today, whenever he met with the media. Our drafts have been terrible, too.
So they're picking 6th. The Jets are picking 7th. They're going to have a quarterback. You can bet on Aaron Rodgers' next team offshore right now. The Raiders are actually a short shot. So what's going to happen then? The Raiders are going to sign Aaron Rodgers, and then the Jets are going to release Devontae Adams, and Adams is going to come back and play with Las Vegas again? Is that what's going to happen?
I can't see that.
Oh, I mean, that's...
I think Rodgers is done anyways.
Yeah, I don't, might not be on a team.
Game. Yeah.
Do the Saints need a quarterback? They're picking 9th. They're going to be happy with Derek Carr next year again.
Well, they went 0-7 without him. But they're in hell with the salary cap, though.
Right.
I mean, this is why maybe Purdy gets a big contract. Look, what are the other options?
The 49ers are picking 11th. I put a question mark next to their name. Are they going to need a quarterback? Do they break the bank for that guy? That's going to be one of the biggest off-season storylines in the entire NFL. What do the 49ers do? And the Colts are picking 14th. I put a question mark there, too. I know it's very early in the process still. 2 years into Anthony Richardson. There's a decent chance the guy can't play as a passing quarterback in the league.
One of these teams probably in play for McCarthy. Maybe the Raiders trade for McCarthy, what the Godfather said with us last week. I don't know.
Well,
but there's only 2 quarterbacks in this draft, and every day you look up and there's someone killing Sanders.
That's the thing, right? All these teams that we're talking about, in theory, or most of them, are going to need a quarterback. Where are they coming from? They don't exist.
Yep.
So Adam Schefter said last week on ESPN that a team would have to give up at least their first-round pick, probably a proven player, and more to the Minnesota Vikings to get J.J. McCarthy. And then he said, yes, McCarthy's coming off the injury. So what? What's the big deal? Really? Don't we hear about that every single draft, that this quarterback, fill in the blank here, has injury concerns? But teams aren't going to worry about that with J.J. McCarthy? Okay. Mike Florio said that there's a way where the Vikings could sign Sam Darnold to an extension and keep McCarthy, and then McCarthy might get the job in like 2 or 3 years. But who knows? It's a risk. Maybe this was a career year for Sam Darnold, and he'll never play like this ever again. I think we saw that game, right, last night. How many times did we say that this year? Is the Sam Darnold stink bomb coming? Is the seeing ghost Sam Darnold going to reappear? Last night it looked like it did for the first time this season.
Yep, horrendous in the red zone. Yep. I've said this before. I'm going to repeat myself. The guy to get, I would trade for Browning. Cincinnati's sitting on something there, and I would move him. Not going to play anyways. Won games, move the ball, look good. That's a guy who can come in and play and win games. And he's just sitting there on the bench doing nothing.
Right.
And he's never going to get on the field. That's a guy who could step in, I think, and win some games and make an impact immediately, what he's done.
How about the kid?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, how about the kid for the Eagles yesterday?
He was good. Well, he still got Pickett there, too. I mean, are they going to run it back with Pickett? But, I don't know. Maybe Pickett could go somewhere. I don't know. But the options aren't good.
No.
And to think that, remember what you said last week, Ward and Sanders, they would have been behind McCarthy in the pecking order when you go back to last year.
Oh.
So you could be right back in the same situation.
And by the way, maybe what we're talking about right now, maybe one of these teams will offer Sam Darnold a huge deal. Vikings say, not going to match it, not going to go and give him a better deal than that, and they're going to be okay with McCarthy starting next year. There is that possibility. But how many other spots would Sam Darnold have a year like he did this year? I'd say maybe like the 49ers, because you have a zillion weapons and Shanahan's a really good offensive coach. But some of these other teams, if they would offer him a ton of money and the coaching staff's not right and the weapons aren't there, it probably won't work.
Is Winston on the list for any of these teams? I mean,
I don't know, man. I'm tired of kind of making the case for that guy.
Oh, God.
Every time he did, he comes out and throws 3 more interceptions.
Yep. Getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. $59 off VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Bet smarter all year. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. The 24/7 video access. Tune in anywhere on the VSiN Watch app. And all the betting guides. March Madness right around the corner. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code FTM. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription today.
It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the sports betting network. I will say it feels a little odd having no Monday night game tonight in the NFL. And it feels like it was 2 weeks ago when we were sitting here live. We were talking about the 49ers and Jets, the first Monday night game of the year. Win some, lose some is up next. Favorites crushed it again yesterday. Why not?
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they? Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
We dance for the final time. Today stinks as the season's over, but great props. Saturday, Chase first touchdown, plus 550. Ravens game, 30-1, Ravens defense. Anytime, 5-1 with the pick 6. Henry, 2 touchdowns, plus 220. Akins, anytime touchdown, 8-1. Tampa, plus 550 to win the division 7 weeks ago. The Falcons were 4-1 to miss the playoffs. Dogs in the early game, 7-1 ATS, but favorites went 12-4 straight up for the week. And one of the worst years ever in terms of dogs and favorites crushing it. David Purdom had that great article last week. Bears plus 375. Carolina plus 320. Denver plus 450 to make the playoffs. San Francisco plus 350 to miss. One of our favorite props, which is hard to find, is will a team go from first to worst? I didn't see that, but I imagine that paid big on San Francisco. A shutout, 4-1. Yeah, you knew Kansas City was in trouble when they were stuck on the tarmac for 4 hours.
No kidding.
Right? Couldn't get out of there with the ice and everything. Geno Smith, $6 million in incentives. Cash it. Completion percentage, get the win, and yards. Gibbs, 4 touchdowns, 36-1.
Okay, that's a really bad number.
Yep. That's the only one I saw, though.
For anybody...
That's FanDuel.
In any given game to score 4 touchdowns. They usually have good numbers.
I know.
4 touchdowns should be a minimum of at least 100-1 on any player.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe it was on some spots had better odds, but that's what I saw. NBA, Portland, Saturday was nuts. Portland beat Milwaukee 5-1 on the money line. The Jazz plus 280. Punked Miami after the Butler suspension. Bulls came back to blow out the Knicks in the second half, plus 190. And the Pistons plus 220. College hoops Saturday, George Washington plus 350. They won by 20. Ooh. Nebraska Omaha plus 550. Premier League, Liverpool draw plus 450. Fulham draw plus 315. Arsenal draw plus 270. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. This I put on a Win Some. This is the Cockatoos. They're coming out, and someone left the pizza outside, and they just said, okay, it's on the house today. Look, they got each guy got a slice in their mouth. What? How about that? How good is that? Putting it down, holding it. Domino's? Yeah, not bad. Has he got it? Just staring out?
Good move.
Yeah. Most passing yards, Herbert, 25-1. He was awesome in that game. Every throw. Johnson. How about most receiving? London, 20-1. Cashes over Johnston by 1 yard.
Is that right?
Yeah. Both guys were phenomenal. And most rushing yards, Taylor, 6-1. He gets it by 1 yard. And no books offered high-low as well. It's like, put something up. Not that difficult. Carolina game, highest scoring.
I'm telling you.
Low scoring, obviously, Kansas City. Maybe this could have been a good price. You never know. But, yeah, go ahead.
Books in general were very slow the entire time. I saw, like, in Pocket on Friday, it was my most limited card of the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And even up until, like, Sunday morning, some stuff that I'm looking at, nothing was available in some of these games. I get it, it's week 18, but that's where you want to look for, like, backups to take some bombs on them, and it was like...
yeah, and some of them came in.
Very slow.
I know. Lose some. Titans, 2-15 ATS. That's a record I don't think that can be topped.
I don't think it can be either.
I can't. So who's going to go 1-16? Bills, Patriots under. 43.5 to 36.5. No good. Milton was awesome. Commanders from 4 up to 7. Fell 4. Mariota was great. Big 2-point try. Backfired. Didn't work out for Quinn. And then they go for it at the end. Kingsbury drew it up. The touchdown pass to McLaurin. Seattle Rams under 42 down to 38.5. A shootout in Los Angeles. Garoppolo was great. 330 yards. Cardinals Niners under 46.5 down to 42. Arizona, I think, with the most points scored on the week. Texas State 7.5 up to 16.
Ooh.
Lucky to win the game.
Yeah.
Bad for the books. Seahawks plus 2.5 to -7. Fell 5. Big 2-point conversion they missed.
Well, I'll tell you how big, by the way, in a minute.
Okay. Chargers 3.5 up to 7. Pound the Raiders. That was good. Once the Steelers lost, You had to get on the Chargers, who wanted to move up. Jets plus 2.5 to -1. Rodgers was great as they beat the Dolphins. Denver 6.5 up to 11. No sweat. Romped Kansas City 38-0. Saturday, college football. Good call, Paul Stone. Buffalo plus 2.5 went off 4. No problem against Liberty. And Minnesota in the Mayo Bowl 4.5 up to 10. Want to lose some? You want to talk about bad sleep? Look at the French Bulldog on the car here. Look on the dashboard. Look at the little puppy. He is out, too. Wow. Right now, I'm on the top dashboard, sleeping. Get the guy a pillow or something. Coming in. Oh, man. Look at him. Out cold, too. Having a good dream.
Did he jump up there on his own?
Get him, put him on a seat, will you? How about a blanket or a pillow? His neck's going to be sore. At Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. Ready to try something different? Sign up, start playing the ponies on First Bet. First Bet, U.S.-based, offers wagering on hundreds of races across the country every day and around the world. Sign up, firstbet.com, promo code VSiN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today.
All right, so how important was that two-point conversion attempt by the Seattle Seahawks? Okay, we mentioned Super Contest Gold earlier. It's $5,000 an entry. They only pay out one winner. There's no top 2. There's no top 3. This year, technically, they had to pay out 2 because 2 entries finished with exactly 54 points. This is a great email from Peter. Super Contest Gold is a true anyone-can-win story. One of the winners, Skip, is a high school gym teacher from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Really?
High school gym teacher with a $5,000 entry into the contest. Good for him. That's awesome. In something crazier, the guy who tied him for first had the Rams plus 6.5. One of the entries that finished 1 point back had Seattle minus 6.5. So the half share of $380,000 literally came down to the 2-point conversion. Oh, what is your stomach like? What is that feeling in your...
Yeah.
Oh, man, watching that game live.
All these contests. Look how Survivor ended. You get 2 games that go to overtime. You get the Bears-Packers finish. Tampa Bay's down 10. Here at Circa Millions for $1 million, the guy just had to go 2-2. Well, only, but it was a weird week. He had to go 2-2-1 to cash. First place, he couldn't do it. And then a guy went 3-1-1 to come up, and he came in second place for $500,000. The Westgate Reboot Contest, the final 9 weeks of the season, 4-way tie, came down to the Sunday night game. I didn't look overall with the Westgate. But so many of these just decided by 1 game, a half point, everything. It's you go back and you think, oh, I remember. Yep, Saturday night you had Denver plus 3.5. Or this game I lost.
Sure.
It comes back and it's huge money.
Tell you what, one of the incentive parlays that we talked about on the air on Friday, I put it in, and it was so it's a bomb. I get it. It was an 8-leg parlay. It was like Geno Smith alternate passing yards over 200 and the Seahawks to win the game to pay off those huge incentives. Mike Evans 5 catches and 80 yards. Which it took a lot for him to get to the 80-yard mark, but he finally did. I threw some other stuff on there. The first 7 came in, and it was an 8-leg parlay. The one that I needed late was Kyler Murray, 50-plus rushing yards. And he was never running yesterday in the game.
That surprised me.
That cost me $7,000.
Yep.
That was fun.
I know. He can control it. The one rush, if you don't have the rushing touchdown, okay. But to think he could just get that nice incentive with 250 yards, with 50 yards to get 250,000. A lot of those didn't come in. They tried to get Ertz early on. He had 1 touchdown, a little bit of Ertz. The Evans thing was the most bet prop. He gets there with the shenanigans, throwing it on the final play.
I love that, by the way.
But that was, right.
By the way, I was watching games with VSiN host Matt Humans yesterday. I knew that Matt was having a really good year with win totals. I think he was 6-0 on the VSiN picks page with the win totals. He told me he had to go back and look last night after the damage was done. He thinks he was either 25-7 or 23-9 to win totals this year in that contest over at the Westgate.
Is that good enough?
That might be good enough to win. Wes Reynolds won it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
If you go 25-7,
yeah.
I know Matt's hosting after us tonight. I'm sure he'll talk about it. That's unbelievable in the NFL.
Hard to do.
Oh, very much so.
Yes. And I think 5 teams were close within a half a point of their win total, and Arizona and Houston go over as a result of their wins. Imagine you had to sweat the Houston thing. You needed to win that game. Man. But there's great contests all over town, and it's action nonstop.
Well,
I can't imagine a 2-point conversion for 300,000. But the other thing, what I said earlier, and Matt agrees, there's too much of a disparity with these payouts.
Right.
The pay jumps are nuts. You got to tighten those up, right?
And is there too much put into the quarterlies?
Yeah,
or the mini contests?
The quarterlies are great, but you could say that. I mean, you have an empty feeling if you put up like a 68% for the year and you didn't make that much money.
I heard some stuff yesterday about some potential contests next year. Oh, you'd be blown away if they actually come to fruition. I can't wait. We'll get into the wild card numbers coming up next.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really, with a